What's happening, guys? Welcome back to episode 8. So, picking up where we left off at the Zelator underground facility. So, at this point, you have taken out the main boss. With that, we've also taken out the ventilation system, giving us access to the rest of the area. So, before we get into this episode, and I guess we could wait to the end. Well, let's go ahead and do this now. So, we're going to jump on back to Eventide Hotel Crut. Now, the reason for this is we have a upgrade for Klaus and his shop to get you guys new items. Now, we do have to come back here later to just do some loose ends after this chapter is wrapped up, such as, your first cryptic vessel and a few other side activities. However, this might get you guys, a few things you want to use. More than that, too, we actually get one of your DLC records, so I want to go ahead and, get this crossed off the list. So, going on over, let's make sure that we have fully went through his dialogue as well, guys.
If it was all I know. As the
Alright, so add shop goods. Which, just like the base game, when you advance the shops, that's part of their quest. You will get rewards for this. Now, trade ancient disc. So the big thing here, this is only going to be obtained in New Game Plus. That's what I told you guys, well, once again, for the base game, that we had to do a New Game run, then a New Game Plus run to finish up getting your trophies and obviously the rest of your records. But I still recommended this for the DLC as it does get you more upgrade mats, so you can max out your boss weapons. It gets you more Legion calibers, so you can match out your Legion arms with little to no difficulty, and just gets you really well prepared for the DLC. However, since we are in New Game Plus, we're able to pretty much get every record in one run. We will be missing I do believe it's one record. There's just nothing we could do about it. However, it just allows us to get much more accomplished. So with this, I think you guys will have one run to get one record, but that's it. That is all you're gonna have left. Now you could pick up quartz and other things. Fact of the matter is, we only have 2 more ancient discs, and there are other things that we're gonna want as we advance the shop. It just gets better and better items. So with that being said, if you guys have something that you like there, go ahead and do what you want to do. Either way, now from this point, we're going to jump back to the start, the Zelator underground facility. So we're going to take this, it's eventually going to dead end, and then we'll pick up where we started from this episode. But there is stuff that has to get done. Alright. So once we reach the start here, the first thing we're going to be doing is heading right up the stairs. We did show you guys the Black Rabbit Brotherhood hideout up here. This is actually going to be our 3rd one so far. I'm just kind of running through them at this point. Now remember, anytime you unlock one of these, you do need to put on the outfit, as there's always a quest item in one of the pockets. And, I think the first one actually gave you a key, and if you did not do that, you would be 1 key short. You'd never be able to get all of them done. So, just as always, this one's not so important, it's just like a family photo, but still, needs done. There you go. Just to make sure you have all the quest items. Alright. Now from here, we're going to go on out the door. Obviously, if you guys like the outfit, throw it on. Just roll on down. So like I said, now that we've shut off the ventilation system, we don't have to worry about the frostbite. We can go to the very bottom. We're going to pop this door on the left-hand side. It seems like it'd be a main area. It's very much not. So it's going to be a guy that jumps out. Just try to trigger him. I think there's 3 or 4 total. There's not many. Thank you. And thank you. Get that. And we have a safe. Thank you. Alright. So obviously you are going to get Legion calipers and upgrades here. But like I said, the New Game Plus had to be done anyways, and it lets us get more, just so you could for sure fully max out both Legion arms. Because I don't think you could otherwise. You can definitely get 1 for sure, but I don't think you're going to get 2. Maybe. It's not guaranteed. DLC's not that long. So when you go up here, there's going to be a few of these guys. I like to just run around. Run to the side. It should not be able to get to you. I think it makes life much easier. Alright, then we're going to go in this pipe to the right. To the left, nothing. And you're going to have a drop. Now, as soon as you get here, first room on the right, there's going to be a butterfly here, so we want to move quickly because there's also 2 enemies. There's 1 there. And don't worry about the butterfly just yet. Make sure he's down. Because we do have the time. This time I feel like we have the time. Two. And this gets us an ancient disc, so definitely going to want this. That puts us up to 3. Even with, buying the record we bought. So as I mentioned, I'll usually, I might get one item here or there, but for the most part, I save them all up until, like, we fully upgrade his spouse. Which is towards the end of the DLC, but you still have some time left to use the items. That way you get, the best stuff. You're not wasting it on things that you can get other ways. Like, for instance, he's selling Ergo. That is the absolute dumbest thing to buy. You should not do that. It's a waste. I mean, honestly, we don't even need any more. Even if I did, we could just farm up. You know what I mean? It's a waste. So hopefully you guys are not wasting it. Ergo's big, yeah. You gotta be really active here, guys. Really, really, really active, or these guys are gonna fucking obliterate you this frostbite. That's why I recommend puppet string. You can pull enemies over one at a time, but where you're doing it, it does interrupt their attacks, so a lot of that shit does not get off, as you see. Thank you. So this is going to be a shortcut. It brings you back to actually where we need to be, but you can't actually go this way because the doors are going to be locked until we open them from where we originally started this episode from. So we'll get back to that, just not from there. Like I say, you're not going to be able to progress. You can't even get back to that Stargazer. Both those doors are going to be locked. And you'll know what I mean if you see it. So this guy really sucks. You do not want to fight him here. Thank you. Try to keep him in the open area, guys. Okay, he'll do it. Thank you. Nope. Sometimes need a little bit extra. Now right over here, another guy's gonna pop out. I was trying to keep him on that side so we didn't have to worry about these little guys, because that's really where you get caught when you're trying to deal with smaller enemies and you're fighting a guy like that. It's, he's really rough, to say the least. Really rough, really rough. So dude's clipping, just make sure you interact. Then we're going to get a weapon here that I was very unimpressed with. You get all the way through the base game. You get to the end game, then you get to the DLC, which is past the end game, and you're getting weapons that just are not impressive. So it's kind of a letdown, because it's not many weapons in the DLC. Most are pretty cool, like that's pretty neat, right? The bow, I mean, that's very different. But then you come here and you get to this. So, quality weapon. What it's trying to do is really cool. But, for one, it doesn't have much reach, right? And the moveset just is not really there, Charge heavies, that, the blade kind of spins around, and it probably does decent posture damage, but I don't know. Like, for me, I was like, I'm good. We're good. We're good on that one. You know what I mean? So, like I said, it's a painting, but I was just very unimpressed by it. Either way, guys, most recent Stargazer. As I mentioned, I don't really care for levels. I mean, we're 40, 40, 50, 25. So we're going to bring this up to 50. If I have any levels after that, I mean, I guess we could start bringing Advance up, because that does give us more Legion to use, but it's not really, like I said, once you get to the level where we're at, you don't really, as far as need anything, you don't really need anything extra. Want, maybe. But bringing up 3 damage stats is kind of taken away from your identity as far as the build. That's what some people always talk about max levels, like in Elden Ring. I'm like, dude, you want to have like no identity as a character? If I could just do everything, it's not a build anymore. That's incredibly boring to me. I don't want to be the best spellcaster and melee guy. I like to pick one or the other. Give your character some kind of identity. seriously. Because even like going quality, you might, well, what about quality? That's going both of your physical stats. Yeah, but typically stick with quality scaling weapons. You're not just going to use a katana and then use a colossal greatsword. You'll typically stick with quality scale weapons, something in between, like a regular greatsword or something like that. So I think quality is a little bit different in that scenario, and this is just my opinion, of course. But and we're about to get to a really hard boss fight. It's going to grab another level. But yeah, I like, because that's the whole thing. It's an RPG, role playing game. So I think you should have some kind of identity in your build and your character. So I don't like to bring up every stat. I mean, yeah, base stats are always important. You know, you're always going to get health, stamina, and weight. But typically, you should just go with one. Like I said, for the DLC, I did want to do a quality build just because, well, there are quality weapons for sure, but it's more of me just trying to show things off for everybody. We go with quality, it allows me to, pretty much use what we want. That way I can show you guys what's so great about one weapon or the other, because the walkthrough. If I was doing a Let's Play series, we'd just be going with, one build, for sure. Once again, this is, just my opinion. I think it does kind of take the fun out, If I can do everything, it's not really fun at that point. So over here on the right-hand side, this is going to be a shortcut. We'll get it later, but these are your art supplies. We do need this for the blind painter we met. That does lead to a trophy. Well, it's tied to a trophy with your record, so we get one there. Getting on in, you're going to see these guys kind of fall off the roof. And this area here, I got to tell you, it's pretty rough, guys. Pretty rough. I know I keep saying that, but you'll see what I mean. Grindstone coating capsule, one of my favorites. Favorite consumable. I never use it, I just love what it does. Now, you see this little scientist dude, he's going to be shooting frostbite at you. Yeah, kind of sucks to do it. And then these scorpions that were doing acid damage in the base game now do frostbite. Oh, we never put on our freeze ampule, did we? I'll get to it in a minute. I thought we set that up last episode, but I guess we switched it out for the boss. Alright, let's get out of here before we get killed. That's my fault, y'all. Like I said, I thought we already had it on. Because we did have it on last episode, but I think we switched it out right at the end. So that is completely my fault. I do apologize. But yeah, just keep them on. Hey, Chris. Yeah, he's very cowardly in the fact that he's just going to try to run away every time he shoots some bullshit at you. Very cowardly guy. Extremely so. Let's get that bullshit off. Alright, so however you get it done, just get him down. No real need to kill him, but, he's there. Alright. So there's going to be one of those really big guys with those spears coming. I'm going to try to get all the riffraff knocked out before he gets in here. This guy, you guys know him. You fought him before. You know what he does. What he can do. You stay active, stay aggressive. Run them all down. Alright, now once you got this door, we're going to go to the right one item. Then you have a choice. You can either go down this ladder, which is not the smart choice, and I'll explain why. But you can either go down the ladder or you can go straight. Now, before we get started here, I would put on some throwables. So we have 4 of those. And just in case, it's going to offer us some benefits. I guess we'll go with cluster. Cluster's always good. But the main thing of it is we don't want this guy firing frostbite while we're trying to progress the top path. So the first thing we're going to be doing is going to the far right, because the left side is where we're going to drop down at. Otherwise, there's a whole platform you'll miss. It's kind of like in a midsection, so you got to go this way. We'll grab our upgrade mats, watch 3 platforms. Ooh, I'm getting too sneaky with him and get caught. I'm just like running. Not paying any mind. That's how you fall. Alright, pick up your upgrade there. And that's all that's up here is upgrades, but still we want them, of course. Alright, now when you get here, as far as your throwables, that's the guy I'm going after every time. Because he's doing the frostbite. How the hell did we miss that? Oh, wrong one. get all of our stuff. Then we're gonna go down for a really tough fight. Now the thing of it is that's that really big guy with the chain that he was beating us with the huge ball in the end. But we have to fight him. But sometimes these fuckers want to get involved. So what we're gonna do? Just short. We're gonna try to quickly take him out. Now don't go too far the other way, because if you do, what's gonna happen? One grab attack freezes you. Isn't that awesome? That's not annoying. But you'll aggro the other enemies on the other side of the warehouse here, so don't do that. I'm curious if we have any fire. Yes, we do. That's going to be best. You're done. Yeah, do your regular moveset, Dick. That one. That's the one. He should have been staggered long before that, bro. Long before that. Right. Some heavy hitters here, man. Heavy hitters. Heavy hitters. Alright, Genius Meister's Pocket Watch. A little bit of lore pertaining to this item, but it's just like the tea set. The only purpose is to be sold. And it should tell you that in the description. You. Alright, now we're going to start working our way on down. If you have more throwables, now's the time. Because we have that, like, doctor, that scientist type dude. So he's going to be spamming frostbite. These guys do. I mean, it's all frostbite. Then the herd, do so. Whatever it takes, guys, whatever it takes. It's always going to be rough, no matter what you do. It's always going to be exceptionally fucking rough. But, you know, whatever works for you, go with that. Different things work for different people. I like to run and separate, try to pull guys over, you know, do my best to split them up. Puppet string, pull one in here. You know, Fable Arts, just for my quick attack, maybe knock one out. You know, back up your throwable. I mean, whatever. That's what I said. In the DLC, in the game, it's like deflect attack every now and then do a Fable Art for increased damage. In the DLC, it's like you better be mixing up everything at once if you plan to get through. I think that was the hardest part for me. Once I learned that, you know, I have to do more, right? I have to start using everything at once to my advantage. It did get much easier, but it took me a long time to learn that lesson because it's never been an issue before. You know, 20, 30 hours with the game never was an issue. Then just kind of out of nowhere, it gets to that. So it took me a long time to learn that lesson. Once I did, life became much easier. Either way, from this point, we're going to have your next boss, which is the Overseer. So the Overseer is essentially a test subject, I guess you can call him. Now, you can't summon in the normal way. There's going to be no chalice for you to use. However, this is part of a quest. So what we're going to want to do here,
show this Overseer who it's dealing with.
for one, we still have on acid. Yeah, I forgot about that. Let's go get set up for this fight. You know, in fact, we don't even have to worry about it because we can just put on Black Steel Cutter. So if you did all the content in the base game, you guys should have this. It's phenomenal. We don't have to worry about putting on a fire buff because it's going to always do fire constantly and consistently. Because of that, I think it's going to go a long way. Very, very powerful weapon art on it. So it does quite well in this fight. That was kind of always the plan. I wanted to go back and put a different handle, but it's fine, you know. This is what I would use. But the main thing, what we're really going to need is right here. Daylight Wreath Horn. You picked that up last episode. You do need to summon for this fight. Aside from that, you have these if you guys want to use them to give you more health or refill all of your health at once. You could use stowable items. I think honestly, just using your stuff to keep you with Fable's good. Then, like I said, if you want to maybe build up posture damage, it's not going to hurt. So the Overseer is a pretty giant guy. He's probably about 10 foot tall. He has this huge, colossal great axe. He's got like a fish tank for a head. It's really weird. But he reminds me of like Bane from Batman, similar to the boss you fought right before you met Simon Manus in the base game, where he has that tank on his back that the fluid goes into him and makes him into like a frenzied state or a berserker state. So he's gonna switch back and forth. So his regular attack's a really big beefy. He does like one really big swipe from the ground. Then he'll do a spinning attack, which is swipe. So it's a double swipe. Aside from that, he can grab you. If his axe is low, he can hit you and drag you through the ground, which is not fun. Just a lot of overheads that come much quicker than you would expect. Now, he's not doing much. That's most of his moveset, but it's really quick. He's very aggressive. He's really big. He hits like an absolute truck. And even if you can perfectly deflect, there's so much force that a lot of times you do get knocked back. So that being said, when we go in here, first thing we're going to be doing is using a horn. Alador is going to come help us out. He's got some pretty powerful weapons, but whether you're like, oh, I don't need summons, or not, you have to. It's quest related, so you have to summon him up. For the most part, he's going to tie him down from the front while we beat on him from the back. Now, we'll say if he's in your face, you're going to have to, learn those deflection times. Now, if he glows red in his berserk state, he's going to be much quicker. Just a lot of overheads, pop, 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 pop. Then this really big one where he leans back really far, super delayed, but it's not a one shot, but it's going to be really close to it. So obviously, be careful for this. So the main thing is, as soon as we go in here, we're going to blow our horn. Keep tapping it. Like the second you get that off, get that off.
So this is where you've been hiding.
He's gonna have a really big swipe. Yeah, it's really delayed. Everything's super delayed. Yeah. And you see how he pulls it back up. So that's a double deflect with hard to hit. Watch out. And dodging actually does really well here. Like I said, this game is big on not dodging. However, dodging doesn't seem bad on some of the hits. He's about to go around, traffic cover, and trying to get on what you can. Yeah, even the song's gonna work. That's why he's tied down. Careful. Like I said, the guy hits hard.
The tide is turning off favor.
Stick with it. The biggest thing here is, guys, you're just going to get to the point where you have to learn his deflection time. It's probably easier without a spell. So I couldn't get off from here. 1, 2. That's your double swipe. And some of this you can actually dodge. Like when that attack was like dragging his axe up from the ground like that, you can dodge a lot of times, guys.
Over here.
There's a big one. Took too long. It's okay. Who are you going for?
Incoming.
Start moving. Get back. Yep. This works sometimes. It's not so much about the damage they do, it's the posture.
Over here.
He got, that's a drag attack, that's very bad, very bad. actually landed most of this. Looking at her health, didn't really get that much. Oh god, I gotta stop with that horrible topic. I did that a lot. We're dead. I did that a lot in the base game too. It's alright. We'll get back in there. The guy's got a lot of health. You know, the guy's got a lot of health. It takes a long time just to wear this guy down. You know what I mean? It's a long time just to wear this fucking guy down. Then maybe we can switch up the handle to get better motivity scaling or, you know, technique scaling. But that is definitely the blade I like to use for this fight. When I was having trouble in my first playthrough, it helped out. And plus, I have it fully upgraded. So one of the really good handles you could use is from a weapon from the DLC. So really weird. So the Maniac's Pinwheel handle. This gives a pretty solid moveset. Gives us a lot more physical damage too because it's mainly motivity scaling with a little bit of technique too. So that's not a bad handle. The shovel handle is pretty nice too. Where are you? It's one that looks like a shovel. No, exploding pickaxe. Right here. So that's CC. So that actually goes with our build. So I'll probably go with that one. Like I said, it gives you a little bit more physical damage, right? Because we're getting the physical scaling. So we're not really going to play it any different. Like I said, most of it is learning his deflection time. Just something you got to do. But really difficult fight. The guy hits like an absolute truck, and then it's kind of weird too because even if you perfectly deflect some of his attacks, he's pulling it back up, right? And when he pulls it back up, that hits you too. And it's really hard to read.
So this is where you've been hiding.
You see that? I told you, you can dodge through. Do it. Be patient. He's so big, he can even hit you from behind. That's good. Timing is very on. Heal. And we could put on the strategy screen if you guys recall. The strategy screen, it builds up elemental damage even more so. But it looks like our burn's getting on with the fire. That's some odd luck. So in trouble. You're dead. You're dead. Yep. So I definitely felt a damage. It's a hard fight, guys. Really hard fight. Really fucking hard.
So this is where you've been hiding, Abomination. pressing.
There you have it, guys. There you have it. So, you notice dodging actually worked really good. When I saw the handle glowing red, I just dodged. So, that's something I just picked up with you guys here. Mostly, it's just, do your best to land all your deflections. Just do your best with it to learn his timing. It is really telegraphed. It's just with the sheer size of the guy, you're not expecting him to be as quick as
A
he is.
hard-fought
Kind of
victory
thing.
over a dangerous opponent. But we have granted its soul eternal rest. May this creature which woke to misery find peace. You showed great skill during this fight. You must have had a great teacher. In fact, your fighting style reminds me of someone. Well, my mission here is complete. I'll make my way to Hotel Krat from here. Well, my mission here.
Alright, just make sure he, you are fully exhausted with all of his dialogue. From this point, we have a little bit of side stuff to button up. We're already over on our time. However, we want to make sure everything is done up to this point. That way we can start fresh on next chapter, next episode. We don't want to have to worry about still having stuff behind us because we have a cryptic vessel that we need to go ahead and, solve that. And we have, other stuff to turn in, if you will. Now that we also have the horn, there is a few other things we can do. Well, one other thing in particular, like getting your golden seed. So what we're going to do from here, so we're going to bring all the way up to 50. And don't worry about Lamachia, we'll talk to him next episode. It's in next episode stuff. It's where we start the chapter. So instead, what we're going to do is jump back to chapter 1. And we have to go turn our supplies to her. But before we do, Jungle Zone Walkway. Alright, so we pointed this out quite a while back, but from the Jungle Zone Walkway, if you start working your way back on over to the Savannah Experience Center, there was the Avery. And I said with the Avery that you can't use Murphy's whistle. I told you not to use any whistles here. And my first thought, when I first went through was, I could use Murphy's whistle and try to cheese the game and see if there's a secret here. Well, it didn't work. You have to use the horn. But if you read it, and we went over this before, quiet please, the birds are resting please, and not shout or blow whistles near the Avery. So if you use the horn here, a little hidden secret within the game, right? There's plenty. Trust me, there's plenty with the DLC here. Alright, so you got yourself the golden seed. So this is really cool. Hotel Stargazer. Well, we still have to turn our supplies, then we have stuff to do at Hotel Stargazer. But we have to head back out. So pretty much we have to go to Hotel Krat for a few reasons. We're going to go plant the golden seed. But we also have to talk to Alidoro and go ahead and decipher the cryptic vessel. So like I said, oh shit, definitely went to the wrong fucking one. Alright, well, that's the thing, I guess. I should have been looking. But Eventide Hotel Krat, we're going to go talk to Alidoro. Like I said, there are cryptic vessels in the DLC. This is our first one. Now, once we solve this, we're going to have to jump around anyway. So what we'll do is we'll talk to Alidoro, solve the cryptic vessel, exhaust all of his dialogue. Then we're going to go ahead, plant our golden seed. Then we just have 2 quick stops, and we'll wrap up. So for one, let's go and deal with the golden seed first. It's kind of out of the way. So you're going to go on over to the gold coin tree. I haven't talked about this in the base game walkthrough, but right here, you're going to see this little pot, bird feed, or whatever you want to call it. So this seems to be ideal for planting seeds. Plant the golden seed. Now, this will not grow until after you beat the final boss of the DLC, but it has to be planted before.
I've never seen anything
You just won't
like
see it for a while,
and it could be a long time before it sprouts.
So now that we have that done, we're going to go talk to
You made it
Eldora.
as
Like I
speaking
said,
of
he has quite a bit
crypto,
of
if I might
dialogue. You guys
share
should
any
enjoy
enemy.
all this in your own time, as always.
Come on,
So about
Leia.
Leia,
I have no idea. There's very little.
about how to
I
help
gave
her.
Lee's.
So you're going to learn that Leia is sick. So
Since
Leia
the
has
official haps of
contracted the
Since Leia, the
petrification
official haps of
disease. She's
truth.
slowly dying at this point. This is what you're going to learn. Now, remember, we don't know anything
I
about
do
her
perhaps at the
in the
moment
base
look
game
into
because
well,
she's
if
already
you
gone
can.
at that point. But this is kind of shows you what
Have you
happened to
finally?
her. So Cipher.
Let's unlock.
So this is going to send us back to the Cross City Zoo. So the Colonel, the taxidermist, I think the Colonel owned the zoo, and the taxidermist is the one who, made the alligators and all that stuff. Well, everyone made up a story of. I'm gonna go grab my gold while I'm talking to you guys. We'll grab our fruit. But they made up a story where the Colonel was killed. The alchemist wanted control of the zoo. So what happened is they murdered him. And then they created a story about the ghost of the alligator they killed because the Colonel was a hunter. So he killed alligators or whatever else, and the taxidermist made them into, you know, stuff for his zoo. So the alchemist killed them to get control of the zoo, but they made a story up that the ghost of the alligator is the one who killed them. So we're going to go try to find evidence that proves that, this is obviously not the case and that it was murder. So that's what your cryptic vessel is about. And you guys will, figure the same thing out if you go on through and, go all over all the dialogue and everything else. Forgive me, guys, I'm trying to find the words. But yeah, if you go through all the dialogue, and you'll see all this play out for yourself. So we are going to go quickly to the train station. We have art supplies to turn in to the blind painter. Then her quest leads to a record that we need for a platinum. So, we got to get this done. We won't get it yet, not until her quest is fully complete, because there's other stuff too. But we're going to go and do this now.
Those steps. What have you there? Now, I have...
You wait too long, you may be locked out of it. And from there, we jump back to the zoo. Hall of Adventure. I did point this out a long time ago. However, if you go up the stairs to the left-hand side, that's where the alligator is. So now that we've solved the cryptic vessel, we'll be able to pick up an item. Guess I wasn't taking into account how long it takes to swing the weapon. Thank you. Alright, so this is the alligator right here. So now we can press a button, his mouth will open. Pick that up. That's the confession. Now we're going to simply hop on back to Eventide Hotel Stargazer. Alright guys, so with this, we're going to go turn this information into Alidor. He's going to give you a really cool ring. So this ring boosts damage after a dodge attack. So it's crazy too, because dodging's not really a thing.
You investigated
yeah,
this
you can a little bit, but they made dodge really shitty on purpose, so you deflect. But yet there's builds based around dodges, I always found that really fucking odd, because like you can tell they don't want you to dodge, but yet you can in certain times. It's just, they should, at that point, you should have just made dodge better. You know what I mean? You should have just made the dodge better. I mean, you're adding stuff for builds like that, and just, you know, it's a little frustrating because the dodge is made shitty on purpose, and then, you know, getting to the DLC, there are certain enemies that are best to dodge. They have grab attacks. You got to, you know. So why don't you just make the dodge better? It would have solved a lot. Either way, guys, with that, we are all wrapped up and ready to move on into the Ancient Ruins. Ancient Ruins is pretty fucking cool, too. Pretty fucking cool. Hell of a boss here, but it's still a very, very neat area. So either way, guys, at this point, we do have everything wrapped up in full, and we are ready to move into your next location. So y'all stay tuned, and we will catch you back here shortly.